Welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'm showing you what I packed for my vacation to Hawaii because I did go away on vacation and I thought it would be helpful to show you what I actually packed for my trip. Just because I was traveling internationally, I was going to the US, again, Hawaii from Canada. So I had to be very precise. I was only taking a carry-on bag, so it had to be like TSA approved and all that fun stuff. So I really narrowed it down and only packed necessities. And I just wanted to show you everything I packed because a lot of you guys wanted to see what I packed. So I thought this would be a really quick video option. And I packed it in this bag that my mom actually sent me the link to. It's just from Amazon, but this is the best carry-on bag because you can see it's flat. And it's so much better than those big bags, like for instance, say like these. Yeah, they're useful, but they're also chunky and they don't really hold that much product and everything's just kind of laid in one bag and everything's laying on top of each other. It's actually not that convenient. But this, you just get to your hotel, you hang it on the back of your door and you have all these compartments to put all your makeup, all your brushes. So I put my brushes in this zippered area so I could just easily take them out of here. Actually, it was in this zipper component because there's two sides. So I just put them in here, and then when I used them, I took them out the other way, and then when I was done, you can put them back in. And then I put my makeup in this zippered bag, and then of course I put toiletries like toothpaste, makeup remover, all that stuff into these other compartments. But these were specific for makeup and brushes, and it honestly was just so good. So I'm going to leave this down below because it's just from Amazon, and it was very affordable, and it was so handy. I'm going to start off with the complexion. So I didn't take any primers. I just took my SPF because I didn't really feel like I needed to bring a primer. I wasn't going to be wearing makeup during the day. It would only be if we were going out for dinner or to lunch or something. I basically wore no makeup. But I did take this Chantecaille Sheer Glow Bronze Face Tint. I thought this would be a nice option because I could use it as a foundation replacement. I could use this product as a foundation replacement and it would give me just a hint of color without adding any coverage or anything. It just adds like the sheerest tint of coverage. It's very, very subtle. What it's really doing is giving you perfection in the way of it's perfecting the look of pores and it's blurring the skin a little bit without adding a ton of coverage. It's just tinting the skin and it's so beautiful. I love to use this as a foundation replacement or as a cream bronzer or mix it into my foundation if I have a little bit of a tan, but this was awesome. I just use this over top of my sunscreen basically every day instead of wearing foundation. It was great. And then as a foundation product, this was perfect, but I packed the Dior Forever Dior Forever Skin Perfect Face Stick. So this is the foundation stick that was recently released. I wear the shade 2.5N, and this was great because, again, I had to be very specific with the liquids I was bringing because it had to be TSA approved. So I thought this would be great because then I don't have to count this as a liquid. Very compactable, very easy to travel with. It just was awesome. And it honestly wore really well in Hawaii because, again, I was only wearing it for like the evening time. So I wasn't wearing it for hours and hours, like 12 hours. It was obviously hot and humid in Hawaii, but it still held up really well. It didn't look too greasy or anything like that. It just gave me a really nice perfecting hint of coverage on my skin, especially because I just went in with a sheer amount. And I really like that this is so, it gives you just a variety of different looks. You can really sheer it out on the skin, or you can build it up to get that fuller coverage. So I really like that I got a lot of use out of this. Not that I used a lot, but just that I can get use out of it in different ways. I can build it up or sheer it out on my skin. And this just worked so perfectly. And I love this foundation. This is so great. I'm so glad Dior came out with this foundation before I went on my trip. I'm going to Mexico at the end of April. And I'm going to bring this foundation to Mexico too. Even though it's a little bit hotter in Mexico, I still think this will hold up. Because again, I'm not going to be wearing makeup for hours and hours. It's just going to be like for a specific amount of time, like when we're doing dinners there and stuff like that. So I'm excited to test this out in Mexico. But it worked really well in Hawaii, and I'm so glad that I had this. Next for concealer, I just brought my Surratt Dewdrop Concealer because this is a really nice concealer. It's not too matte, but it's also not too hydrating. This wears really well in the humid summer months where I live personally, so I thought it would hold up well in Hawaii, and it really did. I love this because it doesn't crease. It wears so beautifully all day long. It is one of the best wearing concealers. I feel like I haven't talked about this a lot lately, but it is still my #1 concealer because I just love how it wears all day long. And in that really hot and humid environment, I was really impressed with this. It didn't sit into any fine lines in my under eye region. Everything just looked really smooth and perfect for the amount of time I was wearing it. I obviously wasn't wearing this all day long. Again, it was mostly when I went out for dinners and stuff like that. But really liked this because I just put it on my eyes. A little bit goes a long way with this concealer. I did bring a facial concealer. I did bring the Clé de Peau, the concealer, just in case I had a breakout or I wanted to cover up some pigmentation, but I ended up not using this, but I brought it just in case. I wear the shade Almond in this, and it's really awesome. I also brought this Victoria Beckham. This is the Contour Stylus in the shade Marble, just in case I wanted a cream option. I just thought this would be handy to have. It barely takes up any room, so I thought this would be a good option. And I think I used it once when I was there, but I thought it was a good option for the eyes, just in case I wanted something for my eyes as well. So I brought this. And then I also, for powder, brought the Chantecaille. This is the Perfect Blur finishing powder in the shade Light Medium. I decided to bring this one versus my Clé de Peau just because I feel like this travels a little better. It's a little bit less breakable than the Clé de Peau because the Clé de Peau is so finely milled, and it's not a baked powder, it's just a pressed powder. So it is more prone to breakage if you bring it traveling, where this is a baked powder. So it's really hard pressed into this, and I didn't think it would shatter, and it didn't shatter. And this just worked really well because, again, it's a little bit hotter and more humid in Hawaii. So this just mattifies my skin a little bit better than the Clé de Peau one. It also is perfecting on the skin. I really liked having this powder specifically because I liked that I could also just use it, again, if I went in with my SPF on a daily basis, and I could just go in with a little bit of this powder, and then I was good to go for the day. So I kind of alternate between doing that and then the Chantecaille Sheer Bronze Face Tint. And for bronzer, shocker, I took the Hermes Healthy Glow Mineral Powder in the shade 02 Atlas. I just love this as a bronzer. As you can see, it's just slightly deeper than my neck, so it works really well as a bronzing product. And it just looks so natural on the skin. Even though this is a bigger compact, I made sure to make room for it because I just love how this looks on the skin. This is just my most flattering bronzer. It's almost a hybrid between a powder and a bronzing product. And I just can't go without this. So I made sure to have it on hand. And it's something that I was so happy I had with me. For the blush, I decided to take the Chanel. This is the cream to powder blush in the shade Rose Ardent. I wanted to take this because I figured a lot of powder blushes, not that I have an issue taking them, but because they are powder, they can just break a little bit easier. But because of this emollient formula, and it is that cream to powder formulation, I just thought this would work really well. I also thought it would work really well in case I wanted to do like an easy look with just that Chantecaille Sheer Bronze Face Tint and then just apply a little bit of this blush. I really like the effect this has on the skin because this is this really skin-like powder formulation. I guess it's more of like it says, a cream to powder formulation. So you get that look of a cream. It looks very skin-like. It just melts into the skin. But it has that longevity of a powder product and it also applies like a powder product. So I just thought this would be a really nice one to bring. And again, I didn't risk it breaking because it is a really emollient product. So it's not going to shatter like some typical powders might. And this was just great to have. Again, it looks so skin-like on the complexion. And it's just flattering every time. So I really liked having this. And then for the face and the eyes, I brought a multi-purpose product because I just thought this would be a good option. And again, this is huge, but I really like how this looks on the eyes and the face. So I just decided it would be worth it to bring. This is the Chanel Jeux de Lumières multi-use eyeshadow and highlighter palette. So I use these as highlighters on the cheeks. I just mix these three on the cheeks. I can't use this on my cheeks on the high points because it's too deep, but I do use this on the eyes, and that's just what I used as my eyeshadow. I used these three as eyeshadows, and it just worked beautifully. And I love how this looks on the eyes and the skin because this is the Baked Gelée. So the Baked Gelée on the cheekbones, it just looks really shiny and glossy and dewy on the cheeks versus it like a typical powder highlight that sits on top of the skin. If you buff this into the skin, it just melts right in like a cream product. And how this looks on the eyes is so beautiful too. It just gives you an elegant sheen. It's a very sophisticated shimmer on the eyes. It's not a chunky shimmer. It just looks so gorgeous. And again, it gives you that glowy, glossy effect, but on your eyes. So, so pretty. So glad I brought this. And then also for a crease shade, I did go in with the Hermes bronzer just to add a little bit of warmth. But to add some definition, I took this Chanel. This is the Longwear Ombre Essentielle multi-use long-wearing eyeshadow in the shade Latte Frappé. This is limited edition, and I love this just as a basic crease color. This is neutral, leaning slightly warm, and it just works really well as an all-rounder one and done. I can just throw it in the crease, apply it on the lower lash line, and then apply a little bit of this shimmer, and it's such a beautiful look. So I use this for my crease and lower lash line. And then just some other basics. I brought the Hourglass waterproof gel liner in the shade Obsidian. So it's just a black so that I could tight line my upper waterline. I brought my Dior lash primer and then the Chantecaille Faux longest lash mascara because it's just such a great mascara in heat and humidity. It builds beautifully. It has great length. It wears all day long, but it's really easy to remove at the end of the day. And then for the lips, I took the Merit Signature Lightweight Lipstick in the shade Baby. I really like this because I can just use it all over the lips and I don't need a lip liner. I also took the YSL Candy Glaze in the shade 02, but that's just in my purse right now, so I'm not going to get it because I do have somewhere to be in like 10 minutes. And for my brow gel, I just brought the Kosas Air Brow in the shade Medium Chocolate Brown because I can just throw this in my brows and it's so easy. And so that's all the makeup that I brought, and I really liked everything. I liked the look, how the look turned out. And what I do when I'm packing my makeup is I will set out all my makeup, and all the makeup I talked about, I'll apply it to my face, and then I'll just pack it in here with the brushes to ensure that I have all the brushes and products that I need while I'm on holiday. Because sometimes if you're just packing things without putting them on your face, then you don't know. You might forget something because you haven't gone through your full routine and you're just maybe overthinking it. I'm going to quickly go over all the brushes that I brought. So I brought this Rephr. This is the B04 brush. It's now called the LC04 brush or 03 brush. They sell it in the concept store as a bundle. Really recommend this. It's so good. For concealer, I brought the BK Beauty N16. Really great. For powder application, I brought the Rephr number 19 brush. Bronzer, I brought the Rephr 22 brush. Blush, I brought the Rephr 05 brush. For highlighter, I used the BK Beauty 202 brush. For eyeshadow crease, I used the Rephr 01 brush. For the eyeshadow on the lid, using that Chanel palette, I brought the Rephr 02 brush. For the lower lash line, I brought this BK Beauty N12 brush. And that's it for brushes, so super easy, and again, it fit in this compact, and it was perfect. That's all the makeup I packed for Hawaii. Really simple, just one face of makeup that I could easily apply every day if I needed to, but I really liked how all this makeup turned out. I would love to know from you, what do you guys pack when you're on holiday? Are you an overpacker and you pack lots, or were you like me and just packed efficiently? Don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Like this video if you like it, and I'll see you in my next video.